Hi everyone, my name is Miss Laura and today I'm going to teach you how to make some easy Halloween decorations using just different color yarn and some pipe cleaners. We're going to make a spider, a pumpkin, and some ghosts. So if you're ready, stick around and we'll get started. To make our craft today, you are going to need some orange yarn, white yarn, black yarn, green pipe cleaners, black pipe cleaners, and some scissors. Alright everyone, the first craft we're going to make is the spider craft. So first we have to make our pom-pom. This is how I make my pom-poms. I take the yarn, in this case we're going to use the black yarn, and I grab it in my right hand. Then I just wrap the yarn around my hand over and over and over again until I have as much yarn as I want for my pom-pom. How much yarn you use for your pom-pom is completely up to you. I'm not even really sure how much I have today. It's whatever left on my black yarn. So if you want to count how many times I go around, maybe that will help you determine how much you want. But like I said, it's completely up to you, and it just kind of determines how big the pom-pom is going to be and how fluffy and full it is. So I'm going to keep going around and around and around until I get to the end. But actually, since this is the end of my black yarn, I'm going to have to use just a little bit. Keep it off. I'll need that later. All right, so make sure you didn't tie it too tight because the next step is to take it off your hand. We're going to pull it off our hand. Keep the loop intact though. Pull it off your hand just a little bit so that it's on your fingers. This is the tricky part. Now, because we want to keep the loop intact, this helps it a little bit easier to tie the next step. The black string I tried earlier, I want to keep it long so that I know it's the black string that I tied, because we'll need it later to tie on the legs. I'm just going to put it through my finger like this and wrap it around so I have it right in the middle. It's almost like a little bow tie. Okay. From here, I'm just going to tie a knot. Once you have it somewhat tied, you can kind of just slip your fingers out, finish it out, tie it nice and tight, and then just going to do another one. Double knot it, triple knot it, do what you need to do, keep it nice and tight. Now we have a little kind of bow tie situation happening with the long strings. The next step is to cut the loops to make our pom-pom. So take your scissors, open up the loop, and just give it a good snip. And snip. And now we have our little pom-pom. I didn't use a lot of thread for mine, so it's a tiny one. Make sure we still have these long pieces where you can see them hanging down. Use your pom-pom here, and this is what's going to become the body of our spider. Okay? The next step is to get the legs of the spider. So how many legs does a spider have? 8 legs. Of course, there's 8 legs. So we're going to need some pipe cleaners to make our legs. Let's see. To make 8 legs, I'm going to take 2 pipe cleaners. There's 1 pipe cleaner, second pipe cleaner, and I'm just going to cut them in half. Now I have 4 smaller pipe cleaners. Oh my goodness. 4 smaller pipe cleaners that I'm going to bend to make 8 legs. So the next step is to tie on our legs. Keep those long strings where you can see them. And then you're just going to place the pipe cleaners right on top of your pom-pom. Grab those longer strings and tie them nice and tight. Once again, we're double knotting. Sometimes I triple knot just to be sure. And we have Pom Pom. And we just bend our legs to make our spider. Now I made a little small spider today with my tinier, my less amount of yarn. If you put more yarn in it, you can make a bigger spider. You might want to use full pipe cleaners if you make a really big spider instead of the half pipe cleaners. Now we have these extra strings. You can use this to hang your spider somewhere, or you can just go ahead and cut them to make them even with the other pom-poms. So here's our first pom-pom. It is our spider. And like I said, if you're going to hang it, you can hang them all together, make a little garland of all the pom-poms we're going to do, or, you know, just kind of sit it down. And make a little spider. Next up, we'll make a pumpkin. Okay guys, the next pom-pom craft we're going to make is a pumpkin. I had a little extra orange yarn, so they're a little bit more full than when we saw in our spider, and I added a little green stem to finish it out. So I made my pom-poms exactly how I made my spider pom-poms. I just used more yarn this time. So if you need a refresher on how to make the pom-pom, go back to the beginning of the tutorial and look at the spider craft. That will teach you how to do the pom-pom to get you to this next step. Now that I have my pom-poms, I'm going to add my stem. So I'm going to use my green pipe cleaner this time. I'm going to use a whole pipe cleaner, and so it's a little bit longer and I have a more substantial stem. All I'm going to do is take my pom-pom and wrap my green pipe cleaner around the middle. Try to aim for kind of the middle of where you were before, but not a big deal if you miss it out. So now I just have the pipe cleaner wrapped around the sides, and I'm just going to twist. Then I'm going to fold my pipe cleaner to make a stem. Twist it a bit more. And you can make your stem look however you want. I'm just doing a simple little twisty stem. Twist it around. And here you have your pumpkin. Now, one thing I want to say is that sometimes when we make these pom-poms, the yarn's a little bit long and it gets kind of floppy. Now to make a little round pumpkin like this, all you're going to do is trim the yarn, give it a little haircut so that it is a little bit smaller, but more like poofy, more straight out instead of hanging down floppy style. Keep on cutting until it's the size and the poofiness that you want. And there you have your pumpkin. Now these pumpkins can also be hung on the garland from the ceiling, or you can just kind of leave them sitting around and keep them as decoration. Next up will be our ghost. To make our ghosts, we're going to be using a different technique, so we won't be making pom-poms. This time, we're going to wrap the yarn around our arm instead of our hand. So hold the yarn in one hand and just start wrapping the yarn with the other hand around using your forearm, the length that you're going to make this loop this time. I'm going to pause you, use some TV magic. When you come back, it will be all finished. All right, once you have your string all wrapped around, you're going to take it off your hands. Keep the loop intact though, because you're going to want to use it in our next step. So keep the loop open and get another piece of yarn, pretty significant so that I can wrap around. And you're just going to tie the string on one end to keep the yarn together. Double knot. Open it up again. You're going to take the other side and do the same thing. Double knot on this side as well. super tight so that's not going anywhere. Sometimes I triple knot. And then you have your loop, and I want you to keep your hands on your sides and just cut right through the middle, right in the middle of those two things you just tied. And you should have two separate pieces that look kind of like a mustache. All right. You'll need two more pieces of the white yarn to finish your ghost out. So get your last two pieces. Take your little mustache with a piece in the middle, fold it, and take your string and tie it close to the top so you can make the head of the ghost. Once again, double knot it, tie it nice and tight. And there you have your ghost. You can make it as long as you want or as short as you want using however much yarn you want. And you can also hang it just like that with the pumpkins and make a fun little garland. Or you can just leave them on the table and make a little table setting too.